Hello, I'm Barbara Schmidt, photographer from Germany, and I prefer architecture photography. That is why I want to show you today some images, special from architecture in the underground. Architecture photography has many aspects, but now we start with this special area because it has special effects in the light, in the lines, and in the colors. In the beginning, I would like to tell you that I'm always working in these situations with a tripod and with a monoball, and that I always use a spirit level to make sure that the lines are straight and that the image gets best quality. I explain you more while you see some images. One aspect in this photography is symmetry. Try to find the middle and be really careful to do that, because all things, maybe it is in your mind, you can do it later, you are good enough in Photoshop or similar software, but you will lose important parts of the image. And all you do in the moment when you take the photography is the best solution. So take your time, be carefully, and be aware of what is important for you. If it is the middle, then really count on the ground if there are some parts or lines you can see. Is it the same number? Am I in the middle? It is worth. This is image from an underground station in Munich in Germany. And this is the most colorful station I ever saw. If you look in the deep, you see the colors are changing like a rainbow. So from every point, you get a different image. But make more images. You cannot have all aspects in one image at the same time. Normally, I use Aperture 13 or 11 is fine, because from such images you want a lot of sharp in the image. So do not open Aperture too much. But sometimes if you play a little bit with Aperture to open it more and get another feeling in the deepness, to make it a little bit more, this looks a little bit more like from a fairy tale. So in what mood you are will help you to make your decision how to decide for the technical aspects of your shooting. This is again a very colorful station, and all aspects are the same like always in photography. Make your decision how to build the image, what is your composition, what is important for you, and search the lines that build the whole impression. In the right part, there is an elevator and things you cannot remove, or you have to take like it is. Then make a decision how it is not disturbing in your image. Build it in the whole image. If you photograph in such places, it is always important to have an allowance. Before you start to work there, write a letter or a mail to the organization, and you need the written allowance, because there is always security and they will control if you are allowed. And the one thing is to take the image, and the other is to use the image. You have to tell the architecture or this organization who have to decide about this station if you want to use it for a contest or if you want to sell the images. And beware the letter that allows you to do what you are doing. This image again is the most important is the symmetry, and the other thing is the perspective. If you change your perspective a little bit, if symmetry and the middle is your main point, then the question of symmetry depends on how high you take the image. If you stay normal behind your tripod, or if you go to the ground, that changes a lot. In this image, it is difficult to have anything straight, but if you decide for symmetry, the eye is not nervous with this. It is not missing the straight line, because from the middle you have a straight impression, and that is enough that you have not the feeling image should be in another direction or so. Our brain can handle it. So in the beginning, making symmetry images is a good experience. If this is a new field for you to try to take images. If there are persons, you can take them. In my area, it is difficult because if the people are recognizable, you need allowance from these people. So normally you find no people in my images. So you have different possibilities. If you make your exposure time longer, people are not so clear and they will not be disturbed. Or if you make your exposure time very, very long, maybe people disappear completely if you make it long enough. And all this you can do with filters. And on your tripod, it is no problem to take a longer exposure time. Your images will be sharp, but use something that you need not to touch your camera. I make 2 seconds, camera is waiting, and then it is starting, that I do not disturb camera in its work. And people are also a reference point in your image. It gives a new impression. In this case, it was a photo friend who had the idea to disturb me. But I was on the ground, and maybe that was looking funny for him. I had 8mm prime lens because the ceiling is a little bit round, and so I can take this most wide lens I have. But in the moment he wanted to disturb me, I made my image and said, "Thank you, you made my image looking better." Here again, you can see how important it is to be really in the middle, because all aspects of the image may disturb you later if it is not complete straight. Here you see a brown wooden part in the middle on the top, and it is not disturbing if it is as straight as all other aspects. This image has my title, Poor Space. because there is nearly nothing, but then you get in this way another mood, another impression in the image. This image shows what I told you before. I need people unclear, because that is more certain in Germany. In Asia, maybe it is not a problem and you can make a short shutter speed. So I made a long, it is 6.5 seconds, and aperture 16, and ISO I always have 200, because 200 is the lowest in my Fuji camera, that I have raw images. Take them all in raw, and I would suggest you make 3 images in with different light. Give one image 1 point more light, one image 1 point less light, and one in the light like your camera measured it. And later you can decide what you prefer. But make raw and you have all possibilities later in your post-production. This situation was not so nice and clear like you see it here, but I liked it because it looks a little bit like in a palace, but it is an underground station, and that we have seldom. And my idea was I want to have it as clear and clean as possible. And the solution was to give more light to the image. So it is overexposed. And later in post-production, I gave even more light. And that makes image looking so clean. So if you recognize what you want or what could be your problem, that is the first step to come to your solution. This is a very special image from underground station in Stockholm. In Stockholm, if you get the allowance for underground, you can spend a photography holiday in undergrounds in Stockholm. There is Blue Line specially. Every station they have is an art for its own. And if you have the idea to try it, and if you can ever come to Stockholm in Sweden, try it. It will be 3 days or more different to all you ever did before. And in every station you have different light, and the light from this underground station will be the most theme you have how to find the right light for your camera. Again, an image where symmetry is the main thing. But you see, if you do it for some images, it is not boring, because the effect is always the new one, even if you tried to find the solution in a similar way. The colors are different, the light is different, so you need not to fear. There is always a new impression. This is last image I want to show you today, and here you see exposure time a little bit longer, and the train is moving, and all the other things are sharp, and it gives again a new impression. There is more life in this image. So this is only a very, very short impression of a little part of architecture photography, how many possibilities you have. And I started with underground photography, And I took often friends with me and have shown them, try it, here you can do, because they had the idea, maybe the day we want to meet for photography, it will rain or it will be cold outside. And these are problems you have not if you take your images inside. So if you have a possibility, maybe you start in this way and later there is more. I thank you very much for listening and for watching my images, and I hope you have fun and joy. And the most important is take your own camera, go and make your images. And if in your doing there is any sense from me that is in your mind, I would be lucky. Thank you very much. Bye bye.